Hi, it's Andy T here. We left it where I'd created this base from Depron foam and from cardboard, and I'd pinned it together and glued it with rocket card glue. Well, then what I did was to take it to the spray booth and I sprayed it with this primer. It's a sort of a greeny beige primer which I got from Aldi locally, a local Aldi store. It seemed to go on okay, not too bad. And what I then did was I found myself a view of fields which I then put into Word and printed out on an A4 sheet of paper, which I then cut down to size and glued it over the hump, if you like, of the new base. So this, and I glued it down again with the rocket card glue, and so that it then ended up going over like this. So now you can start to see that this base will look like fields from the air, and in order to support the Flaptter, I put in a plastic tube which I again glued with the good old rocket card glue, and just left that to dry. Once I'd got it dry, then I was able to cut that off. Now, into the base of the Flaptter I drilled a small hole and inserted carbon fibre rod, so it had lots of strength, but it also gave it some stability when it was that slides inside the tube. The windscreen I painted up, and also finished off the controls and bits and pieces, and eventually put those in, and a little bit of touching up here and there to do just before I add the figures. So the next step was to obviously do the figures, and as I said before, I'm not a huge fan. Well, not that I'm not a huge fan of figures, I just don't do figures very well. So I have to sort of take my time, and you know, when I'm feeling the mood for doing figures, I'll do it, but otherwise I tend to steer well clear. Anyway, I got him done as best as I could, and then I got her done as well. And at this stage, they're both being coated with Winsor & Newton's artistic acrylic matte UV varnish. I use this on all my models, and I hand brush it on. I don't airbrush it, I just hand brush it straight on out of the bottle. I make sure I whiz the bottle up first to make sure it's all mixed up from the bottom, and then I put that on, and that's been very successful in protecting the models, and saves them from fading and changing colour and stuff like that. It's really been one of my better choices, I think. So here they both are together, and again you can see the varnish is still a little bit wet there. Once the varnish had dried, I then put both figures in the cockpit and glued them in place, again with good old rocket card glue. And then I came on to the wings. Now the wings are just clear plastic, and they've got this attachment point. Now, for transportation purposes, I decided that the wings were going to be way too delicate for to leave on the models when I was transporting it off to exhibitions. So what I decided to do was to drill through the attachment points and fix a sewing pin into the end, which I then glued with CA glue. Into the other end where the wing goes, I drilled a very tiny hole, and that will allow me then to put the pin in but dry fit it. And so when I get to an exhibition, I can just put the wings on, and then they won't get scratched or messed up in transit. So here it is, at long last, the Flaptter flying over the fields, wings spread, and I'm quite pleased with this. It's looking quite good. The overall effect is clearly what I wanted to achieve. I didn't want the model to be flying super straight, because I always think that kind of looks a bit, it looks far better if you can just put it slightly off at an angle. It's the same with art. You don't put the main piece right in the middle of the picture, always trying to put it off to one side. And then here I've angled the wings up slightly, and in the final picture I've angled them up a little bit more. So that's it, guys and girls. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. All the best now. Bye.